In preparation for this video, I have applied and removed approximately 7 different colors of lipstick before deciding, fuck it, and settling on just a plain old lip balm. And I also had to completely change where I'm recording. And I mean, I know it looks probably the same to you guys, but it's not the same. It's like, here, just let me show you. Let's go on an adventure. Place where I usually film. Grill and other like shit I had to move out of the way to be able to sit in this chair because it's in the shade. Yeah, it's been super overcast all day, so I thought that it would be fine to come outside a little earlier than I usually do to film. And then I got here and miraculously the cloud coverage broke and it was bright AF. Hey y'all, I'm Stephanie and welcome back to my channel. Full disclosure, I've already had a few of these today, so this should be an interesting video. That fucking rooster. I will say, I had a really great time with BookTubeAthon. It was super fun. Being like vlogging every day and being a lot like more casual. Not that anything that I do on this channel is super formal by any stretch of the word. Now I feel like you're too close. What is life? So yeah, had a few of these already and I've got another one on reserve, so let's talk about books now. I'm not drunk yet, I swear. So today is going to be a BookTubeAthon wrap-up so that we can finally put BookTubeAthon 2017 behind us. My notes are really excellent for this. Like, BTAT 2017 wrap-up, aka me trying to provide actual helpful information about the books I read. It's going to go really swimmingly, I can promise you, because you can also check out, here are my notes for the first book that I read. Kitten, bugs are not for eating. Kitten. You know, whatever, live your life. The first book that I read for BookTubeAthon 2017 was Eliza and Her Monsters, which I feel was like the unofficial like BookTubeAthon buddy read, because there were a lot of people that read this book for that. And I was really happy to be a part of it, since I didn't get to read the official buddy read of BookTubeAthon. Eliza and Her Monsters was really good. Not gonna lie to you. I remember the story. I know what happened. I do not remember specifics. I know that when I did that vlog I was like, no, it's really great and I understand, like, I'm not one of those like fangirls, if that I'm not one of the people that was super obsessed with fangirls, like, this is my, I didn't relate to it as much as a lot of other people seem to, but like, it at the time, this gave me similar feels to what I imagine other people felt about fangirl, but clearly that's not the case, because fangirl stuck with people better than this stuck with me. Or maybe it's just because I read it at the very beginning of a week crammed full of so much reading. All of it. I do know that I really liked it. I do know that I liked the story. I want to say that maybe one of the only things I didn't like about it was the main character was kind of whiny. Maybe that was a thing that I didn't like. I don't know. Clearly I already need to reread this, but that is not on the agenda for any time soon. I also clearly need more of this. I can do things. I know how to do things. fuck you. The next 3 books that I read were the Grisha... Hang on, I'm reaching. The next 3 books I read were the Grisha trilogy by Leigh Bardugo. By far, my favorite thing I read this BookTubeAthon. This is a habit I'm trying with this video. This video is supposed to be a conscious effort of me trying to stop doing this thing where I'm like, it was really good. You should read it. Those are the only reasons I'm gonna give you. I'm trying really hard not to do that. But it was so good. It really was. Hang on. I do have notes for this one. I like all of Leigh Bardugo's writing that I've read thus far, which is, you know, I read Six of Crows before I read the Grisha trilogy, and I really, really enjoyed Six of Crows was really good. This is gonna be an editing nightmare for this video. Six of Crows was really good. I also super loved the Grisha trilogy. Like, all 3 of these books were just so good. I really love Leigh Bardugo's writing style. It's really good at keeping you captive. It moves at like a really great pace in both like the Grisha trilogy and Six of Crows. She does this really great job of like keeping you interested even when there's not a whole lot going on. Like when you're in those lulls, it doesn't mean that you want to stop reading. She's really good at keeping you like invested in the story and in the plot. The characters are also really great. They're all like, I don't know how she does it. They all seem to me to have like so many different layers to them. They feel real because of it. You know what I mean? Like they're not these like shallow, even like her extra like side characters are not super shallow, like we're just here to serve this one purpose and that's it. Like everyone has their own thing going on, and that comes through without bogging the story down, which is really hard to do. One of my other favorite things that Leigh Bardugo does is that she has this way of creating these kind of like gray area characters. Even the people like in the Grisha trilogy, what villains? They're called villains. Holy shit, Stephanie. Have some more beer, you stupid. She has this way of like, in this story it's the villain. It's full on like the villain of the story still has this way about him that makes you kind of like not hate him. It's really hard in this trilogy because he flat out tells you the reasons why he's doing what he's doing, and if you can't relate to that and support that, then I mean, I don't know what's wrong with you. He doesn't want his people to be oppressed and used anymore, and that is something that you can get behind. Like as a person, you're like, yeah, no, I get that. I get why you're doing what you're doing. And then even in Six of Crows, which I know is not the topic of this video, but like even in Six of Crows, the protagonist, like the person that you're supposed to be rooting for, is kind of a shitty, crazy person. Like you love him anyway. I love Kaz Brekker, don't like make no mistake, but like he's kind of a shady dude. So I just love the way that she crosses those lines in her books. It's so wonderfully done. I can't recommend all of them enough. Please read all of Leigh Bardugo's books. All of them. Oh, I didn't even talk about how I can't because it's kind of, I mean, it's not spoilery, but it is, so I'm just gonna not, but like, there's a person that comes up in the second book in this trilogy, and he's the best. He is, I like him better than Kaz Brekker. I do though. He's so great. Next book that I read for the BookTubeAthon, because I was trying to do all the challenges in one year, was The Hating Game by Sally Thorne. This book was recommended very heavily by Chelsea over at Chelsea Darling Reads. Love you! I've strong-armed her into being my new friend. She doesn't have a choice. Sorry, you don't have a choice. You're my new friend. She heavily recommended it over at her channel, so I picked it up and used it as like my book that someone else or someone else's favorite book, or a book that someone else picked. No, that's what it was. A book that someone else picked out for you. I was like, I'm gonna pretend. But since then, she and I have like spoken, and she was like, yeah, no, I do. I picked that book for you. So it's officially, it works. And it was so stinking good, you guys. It was so good. I don't usually read contemporaries. Those are a few. I scatter them here and there every now and then to kind of like break up all the like fantasy and stuff that I read, but like it's not my go-to genre by any means. Hey, please don't knock over my beer. It's not my go-to genre by any means, but also romance is not a thing that I read or am into. But I can't tell you how good this book was. The way that I described it before was that it's all of the best parts of the cheesiest Lifetime movie you can imagine. Like, that's me and my mom. That's like a hobby for us. It's a thing that we like to do together. We like to watch Lifetime movies. Don't judge me. But this was like all the best parts of those. It's got all of the like, I hate you. I hate you. Well, it sucks that we have to work together. Yeah, it really does, doesn't it? Yeah. And then they do things together, and all of a sudden it's like, maybe I don't hate, no, I still hate you, but you're cute. Well, I still hate you, but you're also cute. And I can't. It's just so cute. I know I said I was going to do better about explaining this. Okay, so I'm going to, here, conscious effort. The story is about these two coworkers who hate each other's guts, and they play these little games about who hates who more, and so on and so forth, and who can get the other person to crack first. And then something happens, and they get like fake involved, but then they're like actually involved, or are they? It's just, and the banter is adorable, and I just love it so much. I love it so much. Like, if you're looking for something, I'm assuming it's got to be a quick read because the audiobook was less than 13 hours. I finished that so fast. Like, it was just so good. It was just so good. I can't recommend it enough. I really, really can't. Wow. I've been recording for 19 minutes already. This really is going to be an editing nightmare. Next up, the book that I read was Vengeance Road by Erin Bowman. This is definitely like my surprise read for BookTubeAthon. I loved this book. Thought I was just going to think it was okay. I don't have anything against Westerns, but I have never actually read one before. Like, I watch Western movies on occasion, but this is the first Western book that I read, and it was so good. It was so good. The main character is a girl named Kate, and her dad is killed by a like gang that's looking for gold, and she goes on this crazy search for revenge, and she is a complete and total badass, but also maybe a little crazy. I'm not really sure. She kills her first person and is just like, well, you deserved it. So, but then, I don't know, like, shit goes down. Shit goes down. This is the book that I picked up for my book that you bought because of the cover, among, like, I'm sure another several challenges or whatever, but the cover is just, I'm obsessed with this cover. It's so pretty and so cool, and again, surprise read. It was so stinking good. It was just so fucking good. Even if you don't like Westerns, I would recommend this. Like I said, the lead character is a girl, and she's a complete and total badass. There is a romance, but it is not insta-love. Like, it takes a long-ass time for these two to figure out that they don't actually hate each other's guts. And it's just, I said I wasn't gonna do this anymore, but gosh dang it, it's just so good. It's just so good. Here, let me consult my notes. Kate is a badass. The romance is natural. Oh, also, it's dirty and they are disgusting people because they're traveling by horseback through the fucking wilderness, and there are not baths, and there is very rarely enough water for them to bathe, so they're fucking gross. And then on top of that, the violence is not dialed back in this just because the lead character is a girl. She is ruthless, and things get bloody, and oh, it's just so good. Yeah, no, that's it. That's all of it. It's just really good. It's just really, really good. Go read this. Aaron Bowman does have another Western coming out later this year. I am 100% going to pick it up because it was so good. Finally, the last book that I read for BookTubeAthon 2017 was Because You Love to Hate Me, a short story anthology about villains. There were, I think, 13 short stories in Because You Love to Hate Me. Most of them were by what I was under the impression were like pretty popular YA authors. Half of them I had never heard of before. And then also they teamed up with booktubers, popular booktubers, to give them like writing prompts. And that's the concept for this book. It's like booktuber gives author writing prompt about a villain. They write the book. And then the way that it's actually set up is that in the book, after the story, it tells you what the prompt was, and then it also has like a short, like what they call essays, I guess, from the booktuber themselves that like recommended the prompt. And I kind of just like skimmed through all of those. Like I read the first couple and then I was like, I don't understand what the point of this is. It's very like, it was very, you know how sometimes when you read a book and then you know that they were anticipating it being like a popular like book club book for people to pick up, so it's got questions in the back of it, and it's like, what did you think about this? How did you feel about this? What is your interpretation of this? It was like that, except instead of asking those questions, it's just the booktuber answering those questions, basically. It's like, this is how I felt about it, and this is how I interpreted it, and meh, 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 meh. It was fine, I guess, but it just didn't add anything to the book for me personally. In most instances, there were probably one or two that added something where I was like, oh, yeah, okay, well, now that you say that. I do have a list of my favorite short stories from the book, so that, I don't know, if you happen to come across it for super cheap or someone gifts it to you, I probably wouldn't recommend going and purchasing it, with the exception of one story. There was one story in the book that I'm like, no, but you need to read it though. And it's the very last one of, it's not the last story in the book, but it's the last one of like my favorites. I have all of those tabbied because I'm a fancy booktuber. I know how to purchase post-it tabs. The first one that I had marked was The Blessing of Little Wants by Sarah Enni, and I marked it because it was like the first one that I got to where I was like, oh, now I'm starting to get what the point of this book is. The first few, like the first story, the very first story in the book was okay, but it was one that would have been better if it had been a full book. It was like very like info dumpy, like there was a lot of like just cramming information in your face that didn't really... How is the battery almost dead? Okay, my battery is almost dead, so I'm gonna have to like rush through this. I'm sorry. Except you're probably glad this video is almost over. The rest of my stories that I really enjoyed in this book were The Sea Witch by Marissa Mayer. That was really good. Death Knell by Victoria Schwab. Obviously, it's Victoria Schwab. How do you not love everything that she writes? Marigold by Samantha Shannon. I am a sucker for any fae tales. Like, one of my favorite authors, FYI, is Holly Black. I know that a lot of people are kind of iffy about her.
I'm not iffy. I am very pro. Very, very pro Holly Black. I love her. I love her so much. I own literally everything that she's ever written. I love her so much. And then finally, the last story that I marked as a favorite, and really? Is that the last one I marked as a favorite? Oh yeah, because I guess I am rushing through these. The last one that I marked as my favorite was You, It's All About You by Adam Silvera, who is a pretty present author on BookTube. So, I guess I don't know. I've never read any of his other stuff, but after this, I was already planning on picking up his new book that comes out, like, in September or November or something. They Both Die at the End. Sounds amazing. I was going to pick it up anyway, but now I 100% am going to get it, and then also I'm probably going to pick up some of his other stuff. If this is any indication of what his writing is like, I am for it. Because this story is about the prompt for it was female teenage drug lord concealed by a mask. And he fucking went above and beyond. I loved it so much. That is if you can find a way to get that story without having to buy this book, do that. I mean, it was so good. The theme of this video, it was so good. I am bad at reviews. Anyway, before my camera freaks the fuck out, I'm going to say goodbye. So, if you want to, like, comment, subscribe. Wasn't it fun hanging out with me while I'm a little slightly intoxicated? Yeah? You want to do that some more? Fun fact, there's a subscribe button, and then you can. Yay! Anyway, bye y'all.